Chris is first up tonight.
All these years, I have been pretending to be blind. If only. Lee, would you read that for me, please?
Every night, I use an unusual technique to make sure I wake up on time in the morning.
Ooh. Right, David's team.
OK, so what is the unusual technique?
The usual way of making sure you wake up in the morning at the right time would be to set an alarm clock.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
OK,
So, and you do something different. Well, we don't need to know what. I think we'll go true.
What I've done is I have trained my brain to wake itself up.
No, you haven't.
At the right time.
By doing what?
When I'm lying in bed, I will bang out the time on the pillow with my head.
Right.
Saying the hours for the time that I want to wake up.
Yeah.
And that subconsciously programs the time.
Chris?
Yes.
Are you all right?
And how accurate is this?
50-50.
Where did this idea come to you from?
I read it in a book.
What was the name of the book?
The book was called Last Man Standing. It was a fictional book, David.
It was a fictional book from which you were taking lifestyle tips.
Well, do you know when you read something and it sticks in your head as an idea to try?
This may help you, David. Give us a demonstration, if you would, of the severity of the headbang. You're settling down at the end of the night.
OK, Lee, I'm going to turn around a bit and use you as a pillow.
All right.
Oh, so I'm in
Put
bed.
my arm there, yeah.
Oh, my pillow's firmer than that. So I want to get up at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm like, I go 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and if I want to get up at 7:30, I go 7:30.
I don't know whether you've got a partner or a wife or somebody who shares a bed
He used to have a wife, he
with you.
headbutted us to death.
Is there anybody else in the bed with you, Chris?
So I mean, I tour a lot.
So some nights yes, some nights no.
I tour a lot, I'm away a lot, but when I'm at home, I do have a wife. I mean, I have a wife all the time.
What are you thinking, David's team? Alex, what do you think?
Oh, it's so unbelievable. It's believable.
Yeah, and also I do think that if you tell yourself you need to wake up at a certain time, the chances of waking up then are higher than you'd think. It's not totally random.
Well, let's give it a go tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
You make it
realise
sound
we were
as
gonna-
if you're sharing a bed. So I think you're saying it's true.
Well, are we happy to say true? Yeah, I think we're going to go with true.
OK, Chris, they think you were telling the truth. Were you, or was it a lie?
Everyone will be trying it tonight, it's true.
Yes!
En route to a meeting at the BBC, I gave CPR to an OAP.
David C.
Pardon?
How old?
I'm 48.
Why did she need mouth to mouth?
Well, it turns out she didn't, and... But, you know, how do I know how you fix a sprained ankle?
And how did you encounter the OAP?
The OAP was just outside the tube station where the BBC was, and soon will be again, I believe.
Which line?
What?
Which line did you get on?
I got the train to Waterloo, and then I got the tube.
Which colour?
Well, she started off sort of pink, then she went red. Then she went a bit yellow, and then I just got her back again.
What colour tube?
Funny enough, when I got back that day and my wife said, what's happened today? I think, wow, what a journey.
When did this happen? I believe that you've been on the London Underground.
Thank you, Dave. Well, should we leave it at that?
Not quite. Describe the scene.
I saw people in a circle looking down on the floor.
Right.
Someone said, is anyone a doctor? And I said, yeah, there's loads of people.
Yeah.
She goes, I don't suppose you can do CPR, can you? And I went, can I do CPR? And as it happens, I can do CPR.
So what does CPR involve?
Yeah.
Put my hand there, and I started doing this.
Yeah.
This.
What's your rhythm?
I did this.
That's too slow.
Yeah, that is
It's meant to be
you wanted it to
staying
be
alive.
Oh, sorry, I thought you wanted it in slow motion.
It's the music of staying alive.
You wanted it in the pink beat
It's
edit. Yeah, but my record player's broke.
stay-
Staying alive. Will you speed that record player up, love? I'll tell you what, tragedy's the worst. Tragedy. Really upsetting.
So what happened?
We got a new record player.
How many of these did you do?
I think I did. Stay alive. That was a problem. I paused for the high-pitched note, and she went blue again. Stay alive. Stay alive. This didn't help. So I'd say I probably got through the first verse.
OK, so you did the first verse of Staying Alive, then what happened?
And then she literally got up at the right moment of the verse. She went, staying alive! And then the ambulance came and took her off, and she went straight over a bridge and died.
So, what are you thinking? Stacey, does that have the ring of truth for you?
Awful ending to the story, I'm so sorry.
I'm very suspicious that he doesn't even know what tube he got on.
You really, that's the most doubtful part of the story.
What do you think, Susie?
Yes.
No, I think his rhythm was all wrong.
Whoa.
You've been told that before. No, I don't believe it.
Don't believe it?
No.
Then we think it's a lie.
You think he was making all of that
I do,
up? Goodness
I'm
me.
afraid.
Lee, truth or lie?
This is, in fact, a lie! I missed. I once refused to help a hang glider who had become tangled in a tree because 2 hours earlier he had been rude to me in a car park.
David C.
I love it. How high up in the tree was he?
He was about 2/3 of the way up of the tree. You probably want to know the height of the tree, don't you?
Yes, please.
The height of the tree was about how high he was plus 1/3.
So he wasn't 2/3 of the way up the tree, he was 3/4.
He was...
If he was 2/3 of the way up the tree, then the height of the tree was how high he was plus 1/2.
That is a fair point, isn't it?
He's made you look an idiot.
Yeah.
Where was the car park?
The car park was just near a cliff.
Right, yeah.
What was the altercation that you had with him?
He took the last space that I considered my space. Because I got to the space in the car park, and I did that thing where I was waiting with my hazard lights on.
Yeah.
He came around the corner, and just as the person pulled up, he pulled straight into the space. I got out the car, I would say menacingly. I approached his car. He got out the car, bigger. And I said, forget it then, you know. That's your attitude.
So
Did he get his equipment out then?
He'd already belittled me enough.
Where was this tree? What were you doing when you came across this tree with him in it?
I was just going for a stroll with my wife.
And you heard a noise. Did you hear him or see him first?
I heard him first.
You heard
yes.
him. What was the sound that you heard? You're
Well,
talking to your
can you
wife.
imagine a kite hitting a tree, times that by 50, and then add a human? That is what it sounded like. Ow! Obviously, I took the smart-ass approach and I went, oi, think you'll find I was going to park there?
What did he say?
He went, help! Can you... Oh, help! And I couldn't see him at first because it was just a sort of mess of tree and hang glider and...
What sort of tree was it, Lee?
It was a big one.
No, trees have names, don't they? Was
Brian,
it
the
an
big
oak
tree.
or a birch or an ash? Right? The species of tree.
I'm going to go for oak.
But was it an oak?
No. Look, I'm walking along with my wife. Ba, 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 ba. Ah, crash! Pow! Wow! Ow! Is that an oak? That's not how conversations go, is it? You're going, there's a man in a tree fighting for his life.
A man in a tree shouting, help, help,
Help,
me,
help!
help.
I'm stuck in an oak, I think.
And what did you say to him as he
That's
shouted
not
help?
an oak. You're confusing me now. When I have to relay this on Would I Lie to You, I'll get all confused. And it's your fault. I don't know. I think it might be a sycamore. Can you just help me?
A sycamore?
Yeah, when he fell out, he went like that all the way down.
And what did your wife have to say about this?
My wife said, we must help him. And I said, I refuse. I absolutely refuse.
And she just went along with
Nope.
that?
She climbed that tree.
Yeah.
She climbed that tree.
With her bare hands?
No, she got human hands. She climbed that tree, and luckily she had some nail scissors, and she slowly started cutting at the many bits of tangled up bits around him, until eventually she managed to help him get down.
The hang glider had strings
This, of course,
like a parachute.
sounds like a parachute, doesn't it? Yes.
I should point out, I'd walked away, and this is just the story that my wife recounted.
And then when did you next see your wife?
I still haven't seen her since.
So what did she...
He was a very good-looking Spanish guy, apparently.
All right. Super. Well, this is definitely true. Don't you believe this?
No.
A lie? Yeah. No, I think we think it's a lie because of... We think it's a lie because of what he said.
Lee, was it the truth or was it a lie?
Of course it was a lie.
OK, when the Spice Girls stayed in hotels, we played a special game to test who was the bravest.
What was the game?
We used to dare each other to do certain things.
What was the scariest thing you were ever dared to do?
Sing live?
Rob, you've got to watch that, because a lot of people think you're nice.
That's why you get the boat advert and me and him don't, because
Yeah.
you're the nicest
Nice one.
Yeah.
But it's all a
Not
facade, because
anymore.
me and David know,
Not
actually,
anymore.
you are evil.
Yeah.
And now...
Welcome
now...
aboard. So, Emma, what sort of things did you do?
So the main one was, and it involved nudity.
Right.
So we used to stay in hotels a lot, obviously, while we were touring.
Yeah.
And we used to dare each other to go, like, run in the hallways, and we had to do that naked.
Naked?
Yeah. We were allowed sometimes to carry a
Clothes.
flannel.
A flannel?
Yeah.
What were you worried was going to happen?
You could cover. You had to choose a part, obviously, to cover.
Victoria could use that as a dressing gown.
So if someone saw you, you could decide which part of you were known by and cover that up.
Cover your face.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way, isn't it?
I remember once the girls made me go to the lift.
Yeah.
And wait for the lift to arrive.
No.
And then, obviously, you were lucky if it opened and no one was there.
Oh, no. I suddenly felt like...
You're really getting into this story.
I suddenly felt I'd been challenged to do it myself. Yeah. Joe, you've toured the country, haven't you, with your show? You've stayed in hotels.
Never found a flannel big enough, Rob.
I think it's the logistics of the game that interest me, typically. I want to understand better how the competition worked.
We'd take two at a time, and then the
Yeah.
first one back, knocking on the door, that would be the winner.
It's a knockout. Two become one. It's simple.
Johnny, what do you think? True?
I think it does sound like it all adds up so far.
Sean, what are you thinking
I've
here?
been consistently wrong tonight, unerringly wrong.
Well, in which case, if you maintain your current strategy, we can use that to win. What do you think, instinctively?
Like,
Lie. Right, it's true then. Right.
So, Emma, truth or lie?
Okay. It is true.
Yes, it's true. The Spice Girls really did run round hotels wearing nothing but a flannel. Big Zoo, you're next.
I recently wrote a rap about the benefits of sensible pension planning.
Oh, you've got David's interest.
Could you do a bit of that rap, or...?
I don't really remember it.
You've forgotten it?
Yeah, it was a while back.
You said recently.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm new here.
How did it come about?
I do a lot of adverts for people, and they want me to rap for them. I'm a musician as well as a TV chef, and I normally rap about stuff for money.
Very honest about it.
And so you were commissioned by essentially an advertising agency?
Yeah, the pensions from the government.
Do you remember any of the lines from the rap?
I know a part of it went, pension, pension.
I'm going to say something. As an actor, often when you finish a show, the whole thing goes. As soon as you have done your last show, you cannot remember a
Only he didn't, because he just sang 2 lines.
Yeah,
No, what he did, Gabby, was he went, pension, pension.
What he should have done is put a little bit of the rap away each month, and then...
Can you remember the specifics of what the rap was trying to get across?
It was about just taking away the stigma of pensions.
Stigma.
I don't think people aren't ashamed of their pensions. I mean, my parents, I think they're quite pleased. They've got pensions. They're happy to take their pension money and use it to live with.
And have you remembered any more of it in the intervening minutes?
I'm under a lot of pressure right now.
Yes.
So I can't... There's a lot of tension about the pensions.
That'll do.
There we go. He's writing my lyrics now.
So what do you reckon?
I'm not aware of a recent government campaign to raise awareness and get rid of the stigma of pensions among young people.
I don't think you not being aware of this campaign should direct us in one way or another.
You think
because
it might?
I don't think your algorithm is what they would aim Big Zoo's adverts.
You get those walk-in bath adverts, don't you? Come on then, David Mitchell.
So you think it might be true?
I'm weighing towards truth.
Yeah, I think it's true.
We're going to go true then.
OK, you're going to go with your team. Zoo, they think it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
It is true.
Yeah!
Possession. Right. Pick it up first. Steady. This is a prototype invention of mine that I'm hoping to release one day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Brydon's World of Magic.
Teams, questions?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, it's a TV aerial for the bath, isn't it?
On first inspection, you'd think so. It's actually not.
Don't tell us. Let us guess what it is.
All right, try and guess what it is.
Can you demonstrate how you would use it and see if we can guess? Yeah, please do.
Can I come out? Is
Well,
now a good time?
You did. He's cleaning something. Oh.
Oh,
Footprints, he's
painting.
cleaning
Painting. You're painting.
Oh.
Painted a dotted circle.
He's doing
I haven't finished.
Hang on, he's painted a circle or has he cleaned the circle?
He's patting children on the head.
Incidentally, I've just remembered something. This isn't a mime show. Tell us what you were doing.
It's a thing for kids. I got a lot of children, and it's an idea I came up with, and it's just a big kind of painting stick. It's just a silly painting stick. I'm very interested, actually, to know what you think, Deborah.
I think it's
£5 grand, that's all I need.
Oh, you just need £5 grand. Anybody? Anybody?
I think probably you.
You in
Oh,
particular.
me.
You're quite well known for being rich.
Quite seriously, all jokes
Do you know how
aside...
you get rich?
Deborah,
investing in things
Deborah,
like
stop talking to the idiot at the end.
Oh, sorry.
Talk to this idiot.
Yeah,
Seriously? Oh, don't buy into that.
What do you mean, don't buy into it? Don't buy into that?
No, not this. Buy into this. Don't buy into that.
You've been rubbish on Dragon's Den. See this? Don't buy into that.
Don't buy into this.
Deborah, what do you think? Seriously, what do you think?
Seriously, what do I think?
It wouldn't be wood, like this is a prototype. It would be a gaily coloured plastic, maybe with some kind of laminate cover on it with zigzag. Kids
Would it
love
be nothing
zigzags.
like that?
Well, it'd be quite a lot like this.
Can you imagine if you asked for a Nintendo Wii and Dad came home with that? There's not much you can do apart from do circles, though, is there?
Yes, plenty you can do.
That's it. You can do that with a normal sponge.
With this invention, you can do this.
Yeah? Another... Oh, you mean another one of those circles you were telling us about?
But is it a circle, Lee?
Well, it's starting to become a circle, yeah.
You think it's a circle? Wait a minute.
It looks like it.
Oh, hello. Do you know what? I'm in. I am in.
Suddenly. What would you call it?
4 sponges on a stick.
Rob's colourful stick.
Hey! Hey, I'm not falling for this again.
Yeah. Right, what are you going to say?
I've seen a lot of inventions.
Yes?
That's
not even an invention.
Oh, one of them.
I'm going to be maverick here, and suddenly I think it's a good idea. No, I do.
It is a good idea. It's great fun.
I'm starting to look forward to actually borrowing that and playing with my kids in it.
What are you going to say?
I say that I think Rob is mad enough to think that's a good idea, and we should say that's true.
You're saying it's true. David Mitchell, what is your team saying?
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Do you think it's a lie?
A lie.
He's mad enough to have come up with that, I think.
My instinct is that it's a lie.
OK, you say it's a lie. You say it's true.
Yeah.
It's actually a lie.
I had to reprimand my builder after I came home early one day and caught him eating donuts in the bath.
Please, T.
How did you reprimand him?
I said, what do you think you're playing at? What's going on?
Were they the ones with jam in the middle or the rings?
What, the donuts or the bath?
The donut.
Well, they're a popular brand. They were Krispy Kreme. Other brands are available, but that's what he was eating.
What did he say when you said, what the hell are you playing at?
He said, oh, so I didn't know you were coming home. In mitigation, the bath wasn't filled with water. It actually wasn't even plumbed in yet, but he was lying in it and just taking a bit of a break, having some donuts, having my donuts.
Did you offer him biscuits and donuts beforehand, before you left that day?
Certainly not, no. Because I wanted him to plumb the bath in. And, lay on a load of confectionery, he's not going to get on with the work. But anyway, he helped himself anyway. What upset me is he'd gone into the kitchen and helped himself to the...
Are they yours? They hadn't
to
even
the
brought them
donuts.
in?
No, they were mine. That's exactly
How many
right.
donuts were there?
We bought 36 because we were...
What are you doing with 36 donuts?
Well, because we were expecting friends round because it's a new house.
And you were having this housewarming, curiously, before the bathroom had been finished.
Yes, I'm concerned about your plumbing.
Yeah, well, you know, the builder...
The first time a woman said that to Jack.
The builder... The loo was done. In fact, one of them wasn't done, but yes.
I'm obsessed with the boldness of taking a whole box to the bathroom. More so than getting in the bath.
Yeah.
I don't care where he's sat.
I agree.
How far would he...
You don't care if a builder was in your house and sat in your empty bath?
Only after it's been plumbed in does that bother me.
Oh, so an empty bath that's not plumbed in, you don't mind anybody sitting in your empty bath?
Could wee in it for all I care. It's empty. It's not plumbed in. Can I just say, if you're thinking of breaking into my house, that was a joke. Do not urinate in my bath.
I must say I agree with Lee. I think an unplumbed bath is still the builder's province.
Yeah.
Once it's plumbed in, they've signed off on it. Then it's yours. It's your place of washing. Before then, who knows?
So anybody can go and sit in an unplumbed bath? Not
Well, not
anybody.
anyone. No, a qualified builder slash donut eater.
OK, hold on.
I want to know if the party still happened, though.
Everyone arrived, didn't they? They didn't know this had happened.
Was this a showbiz event? Because I don't remember getting the invite.
Yeah. Are you in showbiz, are you, Lee?
All right. Come on. There's no need for that, Jack. Lee, what are you thinking?
I don't know, Ramesh, what do you think?
I find your idea of serving donuts at a party unacceptable.
That is unacceptable.
And if I turn up to a party expecting donuts and then they said there are no donuts, you know what I'd say? Well, at least can I just have a hot bath? And you can't even offer that. I think it's a lie.
Gabby?
Must be lying.
Both say it's a lie. I'll go with my team and say it's a
Oh,
lie.
you're saying it's a lie. Jack, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
It once took me 5.5 hours to cook macaroni cheese.
Please, Steve.
Is it homemade macaroni, as in you made the pasta?
No. It was dried macaroni.
How long does it take to boil macaroni? 10 minutes?
It's not just
10,
boil
12?
it. There's more to it. There's more to it than that.
There's a lot to making macaroni cheese.
There's
it's
more-
not just boil. You have to, you know, make like a roux, which is like a white sauce, but be careful because it goes lumpy and.
5.5 hours long.
You may be helping him out here, Joe.
Oh,
if
sorry.
indeed this is a lie. How do you make macaroni cheese,
You make
Joe?
a roux and.
What's
it
the
can
roux?
go
Tell us
lumpy
this.
and.
How would you make a roux? And don't say you had it off with a kangaroo.
We could have a little Joey, couldn't we?
That's good. That's very good.
Don't need your pity. I do a bit, but I was following a recipe, so I remember it had 4 different types of cheese in it, but it got.
Do you remember the types of cheese?
Mozzarella. Not really.
All right, let me rephrase the question. Can you name any cheeses?
Was there a specific occasion? Was this for someone's birthday party or your birthday or...?
We were on holiday.
Who's we?
It's my family and another family.
And is it your job to cook for everybody?
Not after that, no. The whole thing got held up because somebody stole some of the cheese.
Who took your cheese?
Well, I can't remember who it was, but I do remember that actually at that stage I said I'm not doing the meal at all anymore. So...
Where were you, Joe? Where did this happen?
Cornwall.
So somebody came and took one of the cheeses and you needed 4 cheeses?
I had 4 and I had it all laid out because I like to get everything kind of meticulously ready. So sort of 2 hours in, all I'd really done was get all the ingredients into... I think I've seen too many cooking shows, so I like to have all the ingredients in all the special pots.
All pre-weighed on a saucer.
All pre-weighed, yes.
But is anything being cooked at this point? Is the macaroni on?
No, nothing, no.
You haven't cooked anything. All you've done is lay out the ingredients.
But also, there was another delay, which was that I had to move the car. So...
Was it in the kitchen?
No, it was parked. It was blocking one of the neighbours'...
arteries.
Drives or something. So I had to go and move the car, and then I couldn't find anywhere else to park because it was these, like, really, really narrow lanes. So I was just getting further and further and further away from where my family were.
Why couldn't someone else park it for you?
Because of insurance and, you know...
Yeah, but no one would have seen you. You're in the middle of nowhere.
They wouldn't have seen it, but, you know, you can't muck around.
Joe, what are you thinking?
I think it could be true.
Really?
So I read something the other day, and this woman was complaining about her son. She said she asked him to empty the dishwasher, which is the one thing she asks him to do every day. And she timed him, and it took 4.5 hours. And that was because he was just kind of teenager-ish. At one point, apparently, he said, "I've just got to go and have a rest." So I think it's possible.
Joe strikes me as a man that's not in a rush. I would like to be with him in a fire. Bobby?
But let's lean towards true.
OK, well, say true.
You're going to say it's true? OK.
Yes.
Joe, was that the truth or was it a lie?
Well, it's true.
It's true. Joe did spend 5.5 hours making macaroni cheese.
To make sure I went down as an all-time school legend, I deliberately scored a spectacular own goal in our end of term cup final.
David's team.
Okay. You just wanted to make a name for yourself?
Yeah, I wanted to, you know, be memorable, you know?
Okay.
No one really remembers the kind of average guy, but they remember that kind of, you know, the wacky guy scored an own goal.
The idiot.
And the idiot, yes.
So what was the reaction to you? What was that? What was
First, it's like, you know, my team were like, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. But, you know, afterwards, they were like, that was legendary, mate, you know?
How long after? Sort of 5 years after?
Around 5, 10 years later. But the thing is, though, the reason why it was so spectacular is it wasn't just a normal own goal. I didn't just, you know, it was a kind of a scissor kick. Now, you're looking at me and going, this isn't the physique of a football player.
That's absolutely right.
If you see me on, like, Soccer AM or some other shows, you'll see that I've got techers, mate. You know what they say? You know, you either, was it die a hero or live long enough to become a villain? So I was like...
Who says that?
Is that... I think I got the quote wrong. Is that the quote?
Not quite.
You know what I mean.
Let me ask you a question. What were you known for at school before that incident?
I was...
misquoting people.
I was complete, like, school clown. I actually got an award for bunking in school. I was never there. They gave me the early bird award. I used to turn up in the morning, sign in, and then go out. I did stuff like that. I was
The
zany.
teachers gave you a prize?
Yeah, at the end of, like, year 11.
Had they fully understood their role?
Looking back, I don't think they did, because I was really proud of that award.
So, well, it's, in a sense, the school is at fault if this is true, because they've established an educational environment where doing what is ostensibly the opposite of the aim of any exercise is to be rewarded.
Yeah.
So you said, no, I'm not going to do the obvious thing and score in the opponent's goal. And how many serial killers went to your school?
I quite enjoyed the vision there of Parents' Night. First Parents' Night for you two, I think that school is going to be trembling.
Yeah.
Well, you say that. If you look at that line-up there, doesn't it look as if they're just dropping their Greg off at university? Victoria. He's not your biological son. You are David's far more beautiful, younger second wife. And you don't get on with Greg, that's coming across. What are you going to say?
Oh, Greg, you must know more about football than we do.
I think it's true. I think he's a big enough clown to have done that.
What do you think?
I think if Greg thinks it's true, let's say true.
I think it's true.
Okay. She's trying to bond with her stepson.
Asim, was it true or were you telling a lie?
It was... a lie.
It once took 4 people to rescue me after I got stuck in a baby's cot.
Please, team.
Right. First of all, how old were you?
I was a grown-up.
Why were you in a cot?
Well, because I was trying it out, just to see how it felt.
Did you not have a cot when you were a baby?
I did, but I couldn't remember what that felt like.
So was it in someone's house?
Wait a second. No, it was in a cot shop.
Showroom.
Yes, it was in a show. Thank you.
Were you thinking of having a child?
I was pregnant.
Oh, you were very pregnant.
I was pregnant. And so I was there, and I thought I can't buy a cot without trying it. Like, you know, you need a test drive of beds. You know,
I'm glad you weren't buying a potty. How did you get in the cot if you were so heavily pregnant?
Yes, good. Excellent. Well, there are ridges, you know, bars on the side of the cot, and I sort of just wheeled myself in, and then it was embarrassing.
Wheeled yourself in?
Frontwards, yes, so like a dive, like a swallow dive.
But those things usually come down, don't they, at the side a bit? You can sort of move them down
that's what I did. What I did...
Oh, wow.
Good point. On the side of the cot, I don't know whether you're aware, they have a little schnickety...
I'm aware, because I just told you.
Yes. Good. And I just got it down, and I got in the cot just to see how it would feel.
And then did you put the bars back up again?
I can't remember.
You must have done, otherwise you wouldn't have been stuck.
I did. I put the... Exactly.
Was it...
It's like you were there.
And then how did you get out, then? Did somebody help you?
The people had to help me.
Four people.
In the cot. Exactly.
Who were these people?
Well, they were just the people who worked in John Lewis.
4 people's a lot.
Or maybe it's just a good service at John Lewis. It is a good shop. I think you've got 2 fragile things. You have you don't want to hurt the woman who's pregnant.
Cough. Yes.
And maybe mentally ill. And then... and then you have the other side of it, which is you've got a product that's on display. Yeah, it's for sale. You don't want it to be...
You don't want it to
Let's not forget the unborn baby.
And the tiny baby.
So what do you think, Lee?
What do you think, Steve? True or lie?
I've got a feeling it's true.
If you'd have been stuck in a cot, how many people would have come and helped you?
Well, it would have been length problems more than anything else.
It would be an odd-shaped cot that you could fit in.
And perhaps
Coffin.
Only head would have been...
It's the opposite.
Steve Davis stuck in coffin.
It's a big
No, would you, in a coffin shop, would you try that out to see if it's... You know, because you're in there a lot longer, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what are you going to say?
I'm going to say it's true.
All right. Claudia, truth or lie?
It is true.
I once found a suitcase and took it to the police station. When they opened it, it contained 34 bunches of bananas.
David?
Where did you find the suitcase?
In a train station.
Well, there are lots of...
Do you want a specific train station?
Well, no, I'm just sort of thinking that you're in a train station, you see a suitcase, you think, I must take that to the police. That's potentially a bad approach.
No, I was just lying, and I'd said to a couple of people, is that your suitcase? And it was in the climate of fear, and I started to think, well, maybe I should be a good citizen. So I took the suitcase over, and I headed straight to a British Transport police guy, and told him what had happened.
So you moved the suitcase you thought might be a bomb?
Did you also give it a good rattle?
It wasn't so much I thought it was a bomb, I just thought maybe somebody had left their suitcase.
Well, that wouldn't be a response to the climate of fear, though. That would have been a response to a climate of forgetfulness.
I panicked.
Who opened the suitcase to divulge all those bananas?
I came in, and the British Transport police guy took it into his office, and then they scanned it with some... whatever they scan it with, some...
Those things...
I get Waitrose!
How much are bananas? How much are bananas?
At the heart of this is, why would anybody put 34 bunches of bananas into a suitcase?
That's exactly what the Chief Terror Inspector said. He was baffled, that's why.
Did they ever find this guy?
I never kept up to date. I don't have a clue. I just left it.
You haven't kept in touch?
No.
Well, he's here tonight.
I'm the king of the swingers! What I doubt here is that if you've taken a piece of unattended luggage to the police, I don't think they're going to then immediately open it.
Oh, it was no longer unattended when I got to the police, because
but you're saying... But that's not going to reassure them, because you're saying, I've no idea whether or not this has got a bomb in it. So...
I never used those words. You don't use the word bomb in this situation. That just...
You do a mime.
I'm worried this might be...
What? I'm really...
And then he opened it when?
Right, we need a decision. Truth or lie?
Well, you think it's a lie?
I do, really. I think it's a lie.
Well, we'll say it's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. OK, Kevin, were you telling the truth?
It's a lie.
Yes, it was a very big lie. Kevin didn't take a suitcase containing 34 bunches of bananas to a police station. David?
To keep things exciting at home, every time I fill our tin with normal tea bags, I slip in one Earl Grey, knowing it could surprise me at any time.
Please, Steve.
Oh, it's for your own interest, not for the surprise of your wife.
Well, it could... I mean, she could be surprised by it also.
Do you put a normal tea bag in with the Earl Grey and let it brew, or is it in
No, it's in the tin of tea bags.
In the tin? OK.
Fill the tin of tea bags with normal tea bags, but with one Earl Grey tea bag in the mix. Give it a little bit of a...
This is David's version of an adrenaline sport.
It's not for the flavour.
Oh.
It's for the surprise element.
That's it?
Yeah,
it's as dull as it sounds. That's it.
What you've got to remember is I'm quite an uninteresting person, and I've been doing this programme since 2006. So, you know, this is all we've got now.
Now, the question is when you sip it and it's Earl Grey, is it a pleasant surprise or, damn? Because you obviously don't like it, otherwise you'd be drinking it.
No, absolutely. Do you know what I think overall, and I'm sorry to make this even more boring than it is already, but overall...
Is it possible?
Yeah. Overall, it is a neutral experience, because I don't like the Earl Grey tea as much, and yet the surprise element brings it up to the same level as a normal cup of tea.
80 bags, box of Earl Grey. You could probably work it out, Lee. Is that 80 weeks that you'll have to have that box of Earl Grey?
How many cups of tea are you drinking a day?
Oh, I mean, loads. 5 to 8.
So 5 to 8. So he's getting through a box of tea bags every 10 days.
Every 10 days.
Takes a long time to get through a box of Earl Grey, although sometimes...
The Earl Grey is, hang on, the Earl Grey's almost 3 years old. By the time you've got to the last Earl Grey. And at no point, when you put when you get after...
You're interested now, aren't you? The sheer age of it.
I'm interested because...
old, David.
Because at the end, when you put your last Earl Grey in, and that box is empty, where most normal people would then go, that's probably enough. You'll go, I think I'll go again. For a whole new 3-year cycle. It's a 3-year commitment each time.
The thing you have to remember, sometimes people come round to the house, and if you could believe that, you'll believe anything.
But they don't ever leave.
And ask for Earl Grey.
Yeah,
and then I'm just willing to take one from the Earl Grey box.
But what if you've run out and it was your final one in the thing? You're like, oh my God! It's disaster.
It's never happened. But obviously, what a frantic and exciting scene.
You say you're welcome to an Earl Grey, but you may have to have 80.
Find it.
You must have 80 cups of tea to find it. No, you're not going to. They're tied to the radiator in the cellar. Let us go!
OK, time to decide. Lee, what are you going to say?
I believe David is capable of doing this. He needs that little thrill.
You know I need excitement in my life.
You need excitement, but this is a lot of...
It's not exciting.
So you're saying it's a lie. David?
It was, in fact, a lie.
For the past 6 months, I've been using David Mitchell to get me off to sleep each night.
Oh. No further questions, true. OK. What medium are you listening to David through?
I have found a stash of podcasts of The Unbelievable Truth.
Oh, the radio show. For those that don't know, could you describe The Unbelievable Truth?
There's 4 panellists, and they each deliver a lecture, and the other panellists have to... Oh, see, I'm going off now. Have to find the truth.
Look, this is not going to get picked up by American TV with this bit.
What is it about David's nasal drone that sends you on? What's the quality in there that appeals to you?
It's entertaining and it's soothing. It's like a sort of father telling me a bedtime story.
And how do you listen to him? What have you got headphones and?
No, I just have my phone very close to my
it's
pillow.
the speaker on the phone.
Yeah.
But what about your husband?
He takes his deaf aids out. He turns them off at night. You can't hear anything.
He has his own way of listening to David.
There is a lovely rhythmical quality to David's spoken word.
It's very relaxing and it's not in the slightest bit irritating.
No, that's right. That's right.
It's
not in the slightest bit irritating. I'm going to quote you on that because it's not everyone's view.
Series across the box.
He's not irritating. He's tedious.
It's not tedious. No, because if it was tedious, I'd go off on my own train of thought, which would be stimulating and would wake me up.
See.
But, you know, a lecture on medieval castles... Whew.
How do you get off at night, Alan?
Not very frequently.
How do you visit the land of Nod?
I spray my pillow.
Steady.
Sleep mist. After which my wife coughs for a bit and I'm asleep.
All right, so what are we thinking now, Leisha? Does this strike you as true?
Not really. I feel like there's so many other things you can listen to that would put you to sleep.
All right, Alan?
Philip is clearly a fan. True, for me.
All right.
I think it might be true because he has got a voice that can, you know...
Comforting.
That's not the word I was looking for.
What are you going to say?
I think it's true.
You can say it's true. OK, Philippa. Truth or lie?
It is...
It's true. Philippa does fall asleep to David every night.
I once spent a pleasant afternoon riding around topless on a motorbike.
Please, team.
Hang on. Where were you going on this motorbike?
That is the last question I'd have thought of.
Very practical.
Wow.
Yes, he's
We've got different angles, me and you, haven't we?
Indeed, yes.
Who were you with?
A friend.
Was he riding in you at the back or the other way around?
I beg your pardon?
What was the man's name, Esme?
It was, Phil.
Phil?
Phil?
And what relationship were you to Phil?
He was my boyfriend.
So he was your boyfriend. When was this?
I
mean, just give us an approximation.
Oh, decades ago.
How many decades?
Oh, no.
No what?
Don't make us say that.
All right, which century?
The last century.
Is that worse? Is that worse?
Definitely worse.
I'm not good at these things. What about...
He's a very, very rude man.
What's he wearing?
I don't remember.
Well, let me rephrase the question. Did he have anything out?
Well, he had his arms out.
Can you first of all tell us why you decided to go to... Was it just because you were being devil-may-care?
Well, I'd been sunbathing.
Really?
Right.
Right.
In my knickers.
Just your knickers?
Well, no, actually, I had a scarf tied around my top.
Oh, and then you
Right.
took that off on the motorbike. That's very dangerous.
Oh,
could have got caught in the wheels.
I'll tell you what, if my idea earlier would have been that Phil had something out, he could have caught that in the wheels, couldn't he?
I don't know who this Phil is, but he's very impressive. You should never have dumped him.
So you are lying, sunbathing, and he suggests, why don't we go for a spin on the bike?
Yep.
You jump on the back of the bike, and at this point you've got the improvised bra thing on. So when you start riding, it's on. At what point in the journey did you decide to get rid of the scarf? And where did you put it?
Well, what happened is, because we were going so fast, the scarf fell round my waist.
If you were holding on to him, I guess. So you weren't in a position to put it back on?
No.
And how long did this last?
About 45 minutes, an hour.
45 minutes? Where was this in the world?
Surrey.
Oh. I know Surrey well. Whereabouts in Surrey?
I think it was called Bug Hill.
Right.
Do you know Bug Hill?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, OK.
I'll never forget, it's where I once saw a topless motorbike.
So I suppose, in a way, though, they're not totally exposed to the elements.
How big are they?
Well, I don't know.
So it's a very windy day if they're out there.
Tell you that...
Not very nice.
You were doing the size of them.
I wasn't going like...
Oh, you were doing this?
They weren't... I was actually just... I don't know how big the scarf was. I don't know about these matters.
What are you thinking, Vicky?
I think it's true.
You think it's true
I
as well?
think she's a wild child.
I really enjoyed it. It felt like an episode of Heartbeat.
It did a bit, didn't it? Yeah.
I'm going to go with my team. If both my team members say it's
Well,
true.
it was my gut feeling.
OK, so you're saying that it's true.
OK.
Esme, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was true.
Excited.
I wish everyone was as excited about being on the show as Rosie.
Last month, I got a tattoo of Lee Mack. You say I could mention it on the show.
Where is the tattoo?
It's just at my shoulder.
Was it your first tattoo?
No,
Oh,
it's my second.
What's the first one?
She's got Rob and David on each boot.
So when you went into the tattoo parlour,
and said, please, can I have a tattoo of Lee Mack? What was the reaction from the tattooist?
She don't slap.
Did she know who Lee was?
Yeah.
Sorry, Victoria, did you just ask that?
But why Lee? I mean, look at David.
Exactly.
Can I ask how much it cost?
300 quid.
300 quid? Is that all?
Yeah.
300 quid for my face? I'd have happily put some ink on my face and run into your back for that price.
Are you going to turn it into something else?
No,
later?
she's happy with Lee Mack, thank you very much.
No.
Oh, so you are keeping the Lee Mack tattoo?
Yeah.
You're not lasering it off?
Lee, I really like you.
Listen, it's very nice of you to say, but you did open up by saying I only did it because I had something to say on the show. But thank you, that's nice. I like you, but I'm not committing it to ink. I haven't got any tattoos on my body. David, from the neck down, is covered in them.
Yeah. Mainly former Prime Ministers, though.
So what are you thinking, Victoria?
I don't think she'd want a tattoo of Lee Mack. I don't think anyone... I mean... I don't think anyone would go that far.
I disagree. The bit I know about Rosie, I'm not saying she would do me, but I can imagine her just doing it for a laugh. Me? Unusual choice. I
think that's it. That's the bottom line, isn't it? I've got one of just literally a raw potato that I don't think is as weird as having one of you. In fact, I was offered you in the tattoo shop, and I said, no, I'll have a potato.
What do we think, truth or lie?
Obviously, I want it to be true.
Can't believe your ego is letting you even think about this for a second.
You know, I'm a good-looking lad, and... I don't know.
Lee, it's not true, mate.
I think it might be. OK, it's obviously a lie, but I wish it was true. But do you know what, Rosie? Thanks for even thinking of it.
You're going to say it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK, Rosie, was it a lie or was it, in fact, true?
Oh, my God.
It is. Actually.
It's going to be true.
Yes. Thank goodness it's a lie. Rosie didn't get a tattoo of Lee Mack.
It's not a bad idea, though.
Oh, it's the worst idea in the world. Why would I do that?
I am sat here. Well, do you know what, Rosie? Do you know what I do when I leave this studio? I get your face removed from my back.
After a visit to a school fete, I had to tell my neighbour their cat had been run over, while my own face was painted like a kitten.
Lee's team.
Oh, please be true. Please, please. You were at the school fete as what? As a dad, or were you working on the stall doing the face painting or anything? Or were you
there was a sort of shift, so I did help with one of the stalls, but I was also there just as a parent.
What was the stall you were helping on?
Bric-a-brac.
Bric-a-brac?
Bric-a-brac.
How did you find out the cat had been killed?
Because it was killed regrettably close to our house.
What kind of cat was it?
A tabby cat.
And how was it killed, sorry?
Unfortunately, it was a truck that shouldn't have been... It was one of the very... Not just a normal-sized lorry, a very, very long lorry that should not really have thought that it could drive around those streets, but was attempting to, and it flattened.
So you actually saw the lorry flatten the cat, and then you had to go and tell the neighbour?
Yeah.
I feel like this is the truth, except for the part about the truck, and that actually you killed this cat.
What was the cat called?
She was called Jenny.
Jenny the cat? Jenny.
What was the owner called? Tiddles? In a horrible name mix-up, they started calling each other by the wrong name.
If you want to find fault with someone's cat naming logic, you've got to have a go at my neighbours.
Well, they're grieving. Let's leave them out of it.
Yeah.
Did you
kill their cat?
I didn't.
You say you didn't kill the cat. You might have been partly responsible because you were there dressed as a cat when it happened. It might have been the driver of the truck.
I wasn't dressed as a cat.
Has looked over and gone, size of that cat. Meanwhile, the little cat crossed in the road has gone, is that your mummy? Those two incidents combined, you've killed little Jennifer to give her her full name.
No, just either that or it was a hit aimed for you, and the description given was, it looks a bit like a cat.
Did you pick the cat up and take it to the neighbours, or did you just point to the cat and say, that's where your cat is? No.
I didn't pick it up.
What happened when they answered the door? Talk us through that conversation, because that must have been very awkward.
Had you still, at this point, not remembered that your face was painted like
No,
that?
I didn't realise until after I told them, and then I went home and went, oh, I just had to tell so-and-so.
So they've opened the door. Can you remember anything about the first few words of that conversation?
Well, it was very awkward. I've never had to do that before. So I said...
Meow!
They said hello in a sort of cheery, oh, maybe he's come round for some sort of jolly reason.
Well, no one gave him that impression.
And I said, I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid that I've just seen Jenny get run over.
And they said...
What?
What did they say then? Oh, sorry, you're acting.
They said what?
I thought you were asking me, sorry. I genuinely thought you didn't understand the question, but you were in character, sorry.
Yeah. If we get to a point where you're asking questions I don't understand, something has happened.
The regulars like that
one. And they said, thank you very much for telling us. And then I went back into my house, I live next door, and...
Did you go through the front door or back? When you realised you had your makeup on still at home?
My wife pointed out to me. I came home and I said, oh, this dreadful thing's just happened. And my wife said, you know that you've still got your face painted like a kitten? And I said, oh, no.
Did you and your wife look at each other in shock and just feel terrible, or did you both instantly start laughing?
She laughed immediately.
She's an awful woman, though.
No, you're not. Ignore the Irish man.
You're the best female truck driver in the world. You're all right, Mark. You know that is furballs.
So what are you thinking, Lee? Does this have the ring of truth for you?
Amelia, what do we think?
I think it's a total lie.
Do you? Not even an ounce of truth in this?
Not for me. It's going round to the neighbours, and you haven't really actually told us anything about the neighbours. You haven't talked about who it was who answered the door and how you then got to talk to them.
All right, well, Paul answered the door.
Paul. And Paul is married too.
Paul is not married.
Oh, but you did say them. You told them that their cat had died.
Yeah, there are a number of ways in which people cohabit.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe
I
it?
don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
Are we going to say
Say
lie?
lie.
Say lie.
OK. Miles, truth or lie?
Oh, ye of little to lie.
As a teenager, I used to terrorise my neighbourhood with a game I invented called Theft and Shrubbery.
What were the rules of theft and shrubbery?
Can I first of all say my memories of this are a bit sketchy?
Always handy for this game.
I'm an older gentleman. They're more like just fingerprints on an abandoned handrail.
Even while you poetically describe the ageing process, another part of your brain is inventing the rules of a fiction.
It's Theft and Shrubbery.
Yeah.
It's a game that I played in my youth, in my teens, on the Lakes estate in Middlesbrough. I would probably be 14 or 15. I hope that's all the information you need.
As to what this game involved?
Yes, of course.
Of course. In which case, I'm satisfied and there's no need to tell me. What were the rules?
There would have to be a gang of you. I would usually be with Staver and Bagger.
Well, I didn't realise you knew hobbits as well.
Neil Overall, Jerry Dungaree's son. Of course,
Didn't take his father's name.
Hated him. So, and Gary Cheeseman would be there. Gary Cheeseman was a big lad, yeah, a very big head. Sniper's dream, they used to call him. He's such a nice. The thing is, he's such a nice lad, and he was a.
I love these points in the show where we say, Bob, let's all gather around the fireside. You can tell us tales thrills of your youth.
So the rules of the game, of course you will not.
Theft
The
and
rules of
shrubbery.
the game. Theft and
Shrubbery.
shrubbery. Were relatively simple. You had to creep into the back of someone's house and observe the family watching the telly or whatever they're doing, yeah?
It's getting a bit sinister now, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
Is this at night?
This is on the evening time, yeah.
So the family is, as it were, backlit by the domestic lighting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you'd find one where the curtains were open, yeah? Go to the rear of the garden, and then you'd slowly walk towards the window. Right? Try not to disturb them, and you'd chant, increasing the volume as you went. We do beg your pardon. But we are in your garden. And then you gradually get closer and closer to the window, and as soon as you were seen, that's when shrubbery comes in.
Which was what?
You were not allowed to escape via the front of the property. You had to go across all the fences. Because you're teenage, what you're really waiting for is someone to make a noise or give yourself away, so that you all have to go run through all the gardens.
That's the shrubbery part.
That's the shrubbery
What's the
part.
theft part?
The theft is... We just always felt that we were stealing something from them. I don't know. Their privacy, their dignity.
So you're going up the garden saying louder and louder, we do beg your pardon, we are in your garden. We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden. You're shouting.
How loud
elderly people who are hard of hearing, you could be going, we do beg your pardon, we are in your garden, before they notice it.
Yeah.
This game can't have lasted, I'm imagining, very long before people kind of rumbled you and...
No, it was just one of the games, that we did. It could be theft and shrubbery night. There was another night where we used to take fruit from a fruit vendor's wagon and throw that up in the air and just let it drop on our heads.
Something tells me you played that quite a lot, Bob. Next time, don't use melons.
Cheeseman was very good at it.
So what do you think, David?
Steve, what do you
My
think?
concern is that the details are so utterly believable and sound like they're real that if it wasn't actually a game, he spent an awful lot of time looking through people's windows.
I'm coming down on the side of truth.
Yeah, I know it sounds odd, but I just believe it.
You're going to say true? Yeah. OK, so, theft and shrubbery. Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling the truth.
Last summer, I lost a tennis match when a bee buzzed up the leg of my shorts at a crucial moment.
Please, team.
Right.
What was the crucial moment? Match point.
What was the score at that point in sets?
I'll be honest, we only played one set.
And what was the score in games at that point?
At that point?
Yes.
The score in games.
I think you know what I'm asking you, David.
Was 5-4.
To you.
3-2-1, I'm going to tell you. It was 5-4.
To you.
No, I lost.
Oh, I see, a crucial point.
Right, so, did this bee sting you, or did he come in, have a quick shufty and exit?
A shufty and exit.
Well, did he exit out the other leg?
Or was anything blocking his passage?
Do you play regularly?
I don't really know. I used to play more regularly, but
What
now I play...
standard would you say you are? If 0 is someone that's never played in ever, and 10 is Boris Becker, what are you?
What's 1?
Tim Henman.
Well, in this case, I'm probably a 0.3.
Would you give us a demonstration of your serve technique?
Oh, yes.
It'd be lovely, I think, for Lee and his team. If they had an idea, they look at this serve, they say, well, there's a guy who wouldn't be bamboozled by a bumble, or maybe he would.
I have to say, I think this is totally pointless. I'll do it.
I like a man who joins in with the fun.
I'm so sorry, this is just a waste of your time. This is it. This is the racket in my right hand.
David, why don't?
So sorry. Rob. OK, caught it. Ready?
You're not going to fire it at me, are you?
I'll
aim it over there.
I'll zing it down that way.
Please do, yeah.
OK.
That's barely going to go over the net.
You don't believe I serve like that?
No.
I want to see your feet off the ground and put something... I want to see you grunting.
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Got a ball, have you?
You went over there. All right, ready?
Right, go on then.
I'm going to grunt.
Go for it.
I'm going to put my back into this.
Go on then.
I'm going to show I want it.
You're doing that with your hands, trying to get rid of the bees.
Yeah. Bouncing the ball.
That's how you congratulate a small child. Well done, son. You did very well.
OK, and... Oh!
That was lovely, thank you. That was lovely. That was... Well, that was more than we could ever have hoped. Thank you. What do you think?
He doesn't look like a tennis player.
He probably has picked up a tennis racket. I don't think he's claiming to be at county level.
He doesn't look like he would be at any level.
No, but he's...
I think that's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
Yeah.
Rick?
I think it's a lie, because he would... Maybe a bee flew up his shorts when he was having ice cream, but he definitely...
That's the most belittling thing I've ever heard on this show. OK, we're saying it's a lie.
OK, David. Was that the truth, or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
I once booked a holiday to Costa Rica because I thought it was in Spain. I only realised my mistake when I sat down on the plane.
David's team.
Where is Costa Rica?
It's in... between America and South America.
OK.
Central America, they call it.
Sorry?
Central America, yeah.
And you realised when you sat down on the plane?
Yes.
What made you realise?
When you sit down on a plane, it has a chair in front of you, unless you're the pilot, and it has like a little square on it with the map that you're going to go on, and it says how long the flight is going to be, and this flight said 14.5 hours, which I thought was a long time to get to Spain. And...
Suddenly you're a geography expert.
Anyway, so it had all of the dots, and the dots were going away from Europe to Central America.
And who were you with?
By myself.
And where were you going at the time? Was this a holiday?
Yes, I was going to do a yoga retreat.
And when you booked the flights, was there no information about the landing time?
No, I booked the holiday, and this is bad, on a lunch break on my iPhone while crying. So I was paying so little attention.
OK.
I'd just broken up with my boyfriend, and the only time I had off work was Christmas and New Year. I decided that rather than being sad in the UK, I was going to go away and do something, like, really healthy.
So how did Costa Rica come into the picture?
Well, I was Googling yoga retreats, and when it said Costa Rica...
And in your mind, you've always associated Costa Rica.
Yeah,
I see.
Yes,
Costa del Sol.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, there is a logic to it.
Of course.
OK.
Yeah.
And so...
I love the way you did that. Yeah. I love the way you turned as if it was them that didn't quite understand that.
Did you get that from the off?
Rob, I'm going to break the news gently. You're the only one in the room that hadn't actually thought.
I hadn't put two and two together.
Do you make this mistake all the time? Like when you go to Costa Coffee, do you think that was a lot quicker than that? It swings around about, doesn't it?
Yeah, the first time. Now, what was it like?
Costa Rica? Because it's not in Spain, there's lots of different insects and scorpions that we don't have in Europe, that we've banished. And they've all gone to Costa Rica.
What insects do you remember?
Tarantulas.
They're not insects, they're arachnids. So...
All right, David. OK.
Well, let's be factually inaccurate, shall we? Because that never causes any problems as you enter the 9th hour of your flight. spiders are not insects. Costa Rica is not in Spain.
OK,
This is
I'm
why
just gonna-
education is so important.
I've just got one more question. Did you see any monkeys?
Yes.
What kind?
Black and white ones.
This has all been noted. Continue.
Did that help, the monkeys?
Yes.
Do you remember how you paid for it?
On a debit card. 'cause
Right.
Things are going fine.
Did you not think it's a little bit over the Spanish budget?
No, I didn't, actually. There's a couple of factors just to take into consideration. Number one, it was over Christmas, New Year, so everything's much more expensive.
You were going away for Christmas on your own to a yoga retreat.
Just split up with a boyfriend. Show some sympathy. Poor girl.
Yeah, but you don't want to be on your own at Christmas.
Don't fall for this. It's the classic bride and
Do you know what?
chat-up line.
It's-
Yes, I do. Just say that.
Do you know, I've got a flat in the centre
There
of
we
town.
go.
You should come along. All right, what do you think? Is she telling the truth?
I've got a few problems with this. I think you can get there faster than 14.5 hours. And there are howler monkeys everywhere. That's why I asked the monkey question.
Are they black and white?
No.
Oh, what colour's a howler monkey?
Sort of, I'm going to say russet.
You used to be russet, didn't you, Steve?
Certain areas, still a bit.
So, what are you thinking?
Oh, I don't. What do you think?
I actually now think it's a lie. I'm with you.
We'll go lie.
So, Sarah, was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
I once paid for some tapas with a Nissan Micra.
David, tapas, Nissan Micra.
How much tapas were you buying?
One meal's worth of tapas.
So what cash value of this tapas?
In the area of £15.
OK, why?
I didn't have any money.
But weren't you aware that a Nissan Micra, even in probably quite scruffy condition, would be worth a lot more than £15?
Yeah, but if you haven't got any money, all you've got is a Nissan Micra. What are you going to do?
I don't suppose I'd eat out in restaurants.
Well, drive home and have some toast.
I couldn't drive home. I sold my car for some tapas.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So did they accept the car in payment?
Yes.
How many of you were eating?
8.
8 of you sharing £15 worth of tapas?
I get £15 worth. We all had roughly, I suppose. Well, I don't know. I didn't check.
But you didn't offer... You didn't offer the Nissan Micra for everyone's meal. You said, well, I only had this, this and this. The Nissan Micra's only covering that. You can pay for your own. I mean, that might have been the time to be a little bit, you know, a little bit generous. I am giving a car away here.
Did none of the others think that they might chip in to save your car?
Somebody did bail me out, so I had to pay them with my car. That's all I had. They said, I'll pay you on.
So it was one of your friends that you gave the car to, not the proprietors of the restaurant, then?
Well, obviously not, yeah.
Right, so one of your friends said, I'll give you the 15 quid.
I'll pay your share.
But you can't, like, owe it to me. You can't give it to me next week. I want something in exchange for it now. You looked in your pockets, I've got a handkerchief, I've got my shirt. It'll be embarrassing to take my shirt off, but it'll have to be the car.
I think what happened was, she said, I'll pay your share. I said, I've got nothing to give you, I can give you my car. And I don't think it occurred to her to say, no, don't do that, give me 15 quid next week.
I'll take the car, is what she said. What was the value of the car?
£2,500 I paid for it.
And how long before the dinner?
I lost £2,485 on the deal. It was good tapas, it was nice. We had... I had albondigas. I had croquetas. Croquettes.
Don't patronise me.
And croquetas, and I had gambas a la plancha, grilled prawns.
No.
And then I threw in the floor mats for some patatas bravas.
Right, David, what do you think? Is he telling the truth?
I think not.
Surely.
But it's so sort of odd and weird, and I think it's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
We're all saying it's a lie. OK. Rod, Gilbert, truth or lie?
It is a...
True.
Good work, Mr. Gilbert.